Thanks. All right, everybody. Now, what is it that I always say? Cooking is like a story. That's right. What we're cooking today is a super zesty vegetarian chili, and the story we're telling is about farmers and farm workers. Let's go to the grocery store.
Getting food the first few weeks of this crisis was insane. Grocery stores were seeing a lot more customers than usual. You'd see a lot of empty shelves. Part of the problem was labor. There just weren't enough people packing our food in warehouses, getting it out the door fast enough. Those empty shelves were signs of the system trying to catch up with the new demand. And for the most part, it did catch up. You can hire more workers to move groceries. The bigger problem might be on farms.
So take Matt Harsh. He's a farmer in Maryland.
Whoa, check out that flag. Why is it like that? Oh, Jack, get back to the story.
For this story, we'll say he's this, squash.
Every April 1st, Matt brings 20 to 25 farm workers, these tomatoes, all from Mexico, on H-2A visas. That's the temporary farm worker visa. And they stay for at most 10 months to harvest all the fruits and vegetables. And he brings up workers from Mexico because he can't find any Americans to take the jobs. They just don't love doing this kind of work. During the last recession, farms in North Carolina tried to hire US workers. They had 6,500 openings. That's as many grains as there are in this big pile of rice. 163 people showed up. This smaller pile of rice. And only 7 kept the job.
Rice. More like yikes. Anyway, we'll need all this rice for the chili.
73% of farm workers in the United States are foreign-born. Half are undocumented. And bringing seasonal workers in from other countries is a whole long process.
Hey, want to work for me?
Matt has to try and recruit farm workers domestically and prove to the State Department of Labor that he tried.
I tried.
Then he has to go through the Department of Homeland Security to get visas for his farm workers. And to do this, they have to go to interviews and appointments at the consulate in Mexico. And when the US started restricting travel and closing borders over coronavirus concerns, Matt started to get a little worried. Matt needed 20 workers. Emilio Luna and 7 of his fellow workers took the call before the consulate stopped accepting new appointments. Emilio and the others usually fly up, but flights were looking unreliable, so they took a van. They drove from Monterrey, Mexico to Maryland, a 3 to 4 day drive. Emilio says it was not easy. Those 8 guys all slept sitting up in the van and only stopped for gas and food. It's super important for Emilio and other farm workers to get to the farm on time.
If they're late, it's enough to affect the whole harvest.
But there are some crops we don't need to worry about because they don't require a ton of labor. The robots are on it, like wheat and corn. Those are mostly mechanized.
These will add a nice mechanical taste to our chili, but that's not the case for fruits and vegetables. Take a peach. We'll need that also for our chili.
Workers will go into the orchard and pick peaches by hand.
In fact, most of our fruits and vegetables are harvested by hand, which is why Matt started freaking out. He's like, what's going to happen if these farm workers get sick? Who's going to pick it all for everyone?
Sure, they can be socially distanced while they're out harvesting on the acres and acres of crops, but then they go home, and farm workers usually share homes and live in really close quarters, like 20 to a room.
That is like the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing right now. Experts say as testing becomes more available, farm workers should be part of this priority. For farm workers, living conditions and health insurance have always been a problem. Now it has the chance to affect the food supply.
If there's an outbreak, now here in July there may be fewer peaches, and in August, fewer fruit. Again in autumn with those tomatoes and squash. In May, nearly all the farm workers on a farm in Tennessee tested positive. 50 out of 70 farm workers on a farm in New Jersey tested positive, and there are many more.
The hope is that we'll be better at testing by then, at least good enough to keep our farm workers safe. Looks like our chili's done. But we only had the ingredients that were harvested by robots, so it's just hot corn water with flour.
Where did you go wrong? This is the worst thing you've ever made. Why is this video so bad? You're worthless. This green screen is horrible.
Just needs a pinch of salt. Alright, who wants to try some? Yeah, come on down.